Good morning, everyone. This lecture is about Krashen's theories of language acquisition. There are 5 theories that he put forward: the acquisition learning hypothesis, the natural order hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the input hypothesis, and the affective filter hypothesis. Krashen hypothesized that humans have two systems to assist in learning a second language: the acquired system and the learned system. The learning acquisition hypothesis packages the two together. Acquisition is subconscious process in which the learner is unaware of the knowledge they are gaining. This system is similar but not limited to the way a child learns their first language. According to the Krashen, both children and adults possess the ability to acquire a second language. In order to acquire a second language, meaningful communication in the second language is required. This system focuses on the act of communicating rather than correctness of the language. In other words, during acquisition, the learner is unaware of the correct way to speak, or instead they are only learning to communicate. The learner is subconsciously picking up the new language. In the learned system, in a second language is a conscious process and a result of a formal instruction. Much like what we all did in elementary school, it focuses on learning correct grammar and following the rules of the target language. The learned system results in knowledge about the language, awareness of this knowledge, and the ability to communicate about the new knowledge. Krashen believes that the learning system is less effective than the acquired system. Therefore, it is less important. The natural order hypothesis maintained that grammatical structures, particularly morpheme, are applied in a predictable order. For instance, we learned she is walking before we learned she walked. And in the monitor hypothesis maintains that although most language is acquired, the language we have learned along with those thematical rules can help the speaker self-monitor this quiet language for accuracy. And in input hypothesis, now known as the comprehension hypothesis, this is Krashen's most important hypothesis because it discusses how language acquisition actually occurs. According to Krashen's, we acquire language when we understand what we hear and read. This is known as comprehensible input. What is comprehensible input? What is comprehensible input? Comprehensible input is explained by I plus 1. I equals a student current level of proficiency. 1 equals to the input slightly above the I level. Once a student moves from I to 1 plus 1, they have attained comprehensible input, and this is done by using context clues. And lastly, the affective filter hypothesis. An affective filter is a barrier that students faces that prevents the learner from acquiring a language. Regardless, if there is enough input given to the student, feelings and emotional states take on an important role when a learner is acquiring a second language. If the learner confidence or low motivation, this affective filter turns on and causes the learner to black out all available inputs. In other words, the higher the affective filters, the lower the amount of opportunities the learner has for acquiring comprehensible input. And that's all. Thank you.